we come to well, timing or disbudding your plants for the shows, and this is a little bit hit and miss, but you know, you try and get it right, and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But this is what I do here. These are FIMs, and we're not looking for big FIMs, because if they're too big they become too coarse. I do them a little bit different to like a big decorative dahlia. I'll show you here what I do to both of them, and we'll start with this one here. This is the ideal stage to do a big decorative one. As you can see, the actual shoots, they're probably a little bit too far advanced. So I'm looking at a big deck is around the 50 to 55 days. So if this was a big decorative one, I'll pull this leaf off just so you can see better. Now, what I've got here, I've got a row here of shoots, another row here, and another row here, and another row here. So I've got 4. Now, if that was a big decorative, I'll take the centre out of here, which I've done here. Now, I'll take the side shoot out of there on that one. So I've got one opposite. Now I've got one at the back here, one at the front. I'll take the front one, oh no, I'll take the back one off so you can see the front one. I'll take the back shoot off, here it is here. Then I'll come down the next row and I'll take the opposite one off again. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I can go to 4, but on this, if it was a big deck, I would go to leave it at 3. But this is a FIM. I know I've gone a bit hard on the FIM because it's these flowers are going to be a bit big, but I've just done it to actually show you what actually happens. And then of course, being opposite, 1, 2, 3, they usually flower from the top down, so you've got about a week spread there between them and the flowering time. Now, if we move over this way, we can see some in here, less further advanced. Then we go to the next one, we can see them a lot further advanced again. Now I've taken the centre out because I want to go to a bud and flower, and I don't want it to flower. Now these, because I've done that, you can see the extra growth that's come out. They are too far forward for the shows, for what I want. As you can see with this one over here, this is coming out, there's a node here, so that node, it's in there. Well, when it comes to about a week's time, which is about the time I want, I will take that off and leave this here with a shoot in here. Then it'll shoot from here and come out. And that will put that flower back to where, closer to the time I want the actual flower. But now on top of that, by leaving these on and doing that way, it's going to, the flower size is going to be a bit smaller than what I would if I was to take every second one out and put too much into them. And because while I'm here, these are on stakes, and you can see they've been tied up. Don't tie them too tight. A lot of people tie them miles too tight into the stake, and they sort of bend out from there. Just tie them up so that the wind won't blow them over or they break off. And this one's about due for another one around here, but just put it so it's straight up in there. You'll get to about there, and if you've taken the top out, you'll find these side laterals will come out, so you'll have to go around and do it again around the outside. That's why around the other ferneries I don't use stakes, and I'll just use strings along the side, and if the laterals come out when they regrow, you just flip them in behind the string and they grow like a hedge. When you get to collarettes and single type flowers. They will produce from a shoot to a flower in a shorter time. What I've given you the time of these is around the medium size. This is about a medium, I like to grow it at, to a large. Your smaller flowers will produce earlier than what your bigger flowers will. And especially your collarettes, they'll get down around about the 45-day mark to when you actually get the flower. They don't last as longer on the bush either. So then, of course, you've got the poms. I've got a few poms there, but I never seem to grow them, and I have trouble restricting in the actual growth. A lot of people, what they call, put them in early, and then double stop them, and that means by that you take out the centre and you take out the points of all these. You do them a bit late, you just take your points off, and then the regrowth will come, which will reduce your size. That's all about timing as well. I did some last year for our show on the 14th of January, and they were there a fortnight too early. So that gives you some idea of the actual time. But the timing on all these depends on, once again, your sunlight, your conditions, how cool you are, how hot you are, and where. And actually, it's just where you are in Australia. It's different. So I'm only giving you a base idea of what I do down here. We're back in the seedling patch, and the early film you've seen there of planting out the seedlings, and it's now like 50 odd days or something like that after they were planted, and as you can see, they're really starting to grow. I've been along and put the pegs in the ground, and I make squares, so they grow up through the squares and don't fall over. I found they're having trouble before because they grow up so high, and yeah, they grow up through the squares, and I just take out and cull out what I don't want and peg what I do want. And yeah, so they're looking quite good actually. There's quite a lot in here. There's probably, I don't know, somewhere around 3,000 in here overall. Yeah, so looking forward to them. Here we are in the decorative fernery, and it's the strings I was talking about I use. You can see this one's got two. That's all it takes to hold them up, because they just, as long as they don't blow sideways. Every now and again I come along and I'll tie the two together like that, or here, so you can see in the camera, and just tie two together like that. And over here I've got two, and when the laterals come out from down here, as you can probably see, the laterals here, they come. If they come out through here, I just simply flip them in behind. If come show time and I want a bud or a flower, I just simply pull it out the one below, put a wire on it, which goes down in behind, and it just holds it there, and it's quite simple. Once again, these are mixed here. I've taken the centres out of some, I've set some, and some are too advanced for what I want. Yeah, so from now on in the next fortnight or 3 weeks, I'll go along the rows and I'll set two each week, or 2 or 3, because as here I've got 5 or 6 the same, and I'll set 2, and then a week later I'll set another 2, and so I've got variations in the actual what's going to grow. These ones here is last year's seedlings. They're a little bit awkward to what to do. Actually, the 3 rows here are last year's seedlings. They're real good last year, but see what happens this year. And I'm kind to leave a single bud on the top to see how good the flower is this year before I start doing any work on them. Otherwise I'm doing work for nothing. But that's basically what we're doing. Also, while we're here, earlier stage we did a on fertiliser. now is the stage, or even before this, is the stage to you start using your leaf fertilisers. Don't use your leaf fertiliser too heavy, but do it often. Just go once a week, and Acrosol, Thrive, or any of those. But mix it up with the sea soil, which is a soil conditioner. They seem to work very well together. One week use one, the other week use the other. If you've got someone that none just here, that any yellow on the leaves, sometimes it's just and they've still got good growth, it's usually just a deficiency of some sort. You can give them a feed of that, and maybe there's some give them a dose of Epsom salts. Now, Epsom salts is, I believe, is a good thing to help to preserve your tubers later, since to toughen them. So yeah, but whatever you put on, don't put them on in big amounts. Put them in small amounts and do them quite often. You get better results. Yeah. pretty well anywhere, and that's what I use.